wins on so far, and they've only been able to beat Chinese teams at that as well. So Black Dragons, while they do have a lot going right for them, every single game this team has played has gone down to the wire. 2 10-8s and 2 overtime games. They lose both 10-8s, they win both overtimes. Interesting way for it to play out, and it's 2 Chinese teams in overtime as well. So Black Dragons, quite the odd story to get to 2-2 here, but nonetheless, that is where they are, and now they're in a pretty comfortable position here. They're going to be playing against Carbon, a team that was looking pretty shaky in day 1, but their day 2 has started off very strong, and after their first win against Q9, they should be feeling a bit confident in this one, and they do have a little bit of advantage there. They've been able to play today, whereas Black Dragons, this is their first game here in day 2.
So let's see how warm they're going to come into this. Speaking of warm, Vienna's looking warm, and that's a nice little Black Dragons varsity you had on there. Fancy jackets for days. But yeah, this is going to be a bit of an interesting game. Carbon, they did manage to snatch their second win of the tournament and their first in regulation in our first game of the day, beating Q9 and Black Widow 10-7. So let's see if they can do something similar here. It's going to be tough, but as you say, that sub-base ban is a guarantee from Carbon. There's no way they give that map to Black Dragons. They've just been so good on it, beating both the Chinese teams on that map. So Vienna's pulling out the strat book. Look at this. Strat notepad ready to go.
And honestly, the more interesting thing about this matchup too is looking at round for round. If Black Dragons wins or loses, they're still going to make it into the bracket stage. They are guaranteed to have the most rounds out of any 2 and 3 team here, whereas Carbon, if they don't win here, there's a very strong chance they may not make it through, because Black Dragons, they haven't got less than 8 rounds on the board every single game they've played. So unless they have a blowout loss here, they should comfortably be able to take a 2-3 into the bracket stage still.
Yeah, Carbon are going to need quite the big win, but certainly possible. They did get a win over Q9, which we weren't sure was going to happen, and this is a team that now, they knew that their tournament lives were on the line, but now they're going to be able to focus back up, get back into things here. They know they're in with a chance, in with a shot. And the fun part of this for them is that if they lose this game, they're not going to know until, pretty much until we do, after all the games are concluded, if they're actually through or not. It's going to be too tough to tell until we've had someone crunching the numbers for us. So, it'll be interesting to see, but for now, their priority just has to be on grabbing the win if they can. If they can't, 8 rounds.
Right now, it's really going to be isolating what they want to do with this ban pick, because honestly, I'm going to expect the same ban from them. Sub-base, Black Dragons has only 1 sub-base, so that kind of choice only makes sense, I think, at this point. However, looking at the possibility of Port being on the table here still has to be sort of a scary idea in the back of Carbon's minds, because outside of Port, Carbon's played quite well, but on Port has been nothing but mistakes for them. But now here's the moment of truth. The sub-base ban definitely expected coming out from Carbon, but Black Dragons, we'll see where they want to go with this one. They banned Black Widow. Definitely a smart decision, because Carbon looked very strong on Black Widow, but they get the fortunate chance to take this one on to Mexico. They are going to be on the blacklist side first, though. Definitely a shaky performance we saw that ended in a golden round yesterday against Boss. So still one that could go either way. Black Dragons, they will get the comfortability of starting on that global risk half here. So they definitely have a nice start for themselves, but Carbon surely a bit thankful Port didn't get drawn in this one.
Oh, 100%. I can only imagine how annoyed those players would have been if Port came out in the randomizer for them once again. But once again, we're inside the Black Dragons huddle. While this was a round, or a map, I should say, where once again Carbon struggled with attacking rounds, it's also, up until, I suppose, their first match this afternoon, the most attacking success they've had on any of their maps here. Admittedly, it came very, very late, but I think they still would have claimed 2 attacking rounds in regulation, 3 in the overtime and golden round, so it was still eventually a success for them, but up against a team like Black Dragons, these guys have certainly been punishing the individual mistakes. We saw that a lot on their game on sub-base against All Gamers yesterday. Every single time they were given an opportunity to take a 1v1 or a 2v1, something like that, they did take it and forced All Gamers back. So Carbon, it's going to have to be a very clean game for them here.
And honestly, I think this map, out of what they could have drawn, is going to favor them quite well with the way everybody on Carbon's been playing. We've seen Brando be the consistent weak player on this roster. However, Mexico is his strongest map from what I've seen from him in the past, and I think having that comfortability of having everybody feel a bit more comfortable could definitely help them. And after seeing how Famous used that round the other day, they looked really strong on Mexico, and Black Dragons, I don't believe they've played Mexico yet in the event.
No, we've only seen one Mexico, and it was Carbon versus Boss yesterday. It's the only time we've seen a map that wasn't Black Widow, Port, or Subbase. We're still yet to see an Ankara. We've only got one more chance for it as well.
Well, we're guaranteed to see it at least in the grand finals, maybe in the semis when teams got to play 3 maps. I don't think we'll see it here in the best of ones because it is a consistent ban, especially from the Chinese teams. They don't like to play Ankara too often. I know All Gamers banned it, I think, at least twice. So we're going to be going in here, though. The red lights are flashing. It's go time. Both of these teams fighting to be 3 and 2 here and guarantee themselves a spot in the bracket stage. Whoever wins this probably going to be looking at that 3rd place seed. Maybe a 2nd if they get lucky, depending on how things pan out here, but still, nonetheless, it would guarantee them at least a spot in the top 4. And so there's a lot on the line here. The winner of this is guaranteed at least a chunk of that prize money. So all of these teams are going to be watching here to see who that might be and who will drop to that 2 and 3 score line. But it's all going to get started here on Mexico. And we'll see what Black Dragons can do yet to win any map besides Subbase. But now they're going to be on the more favored side here. And interestingly enough, no arms to start this one off.
And if they do lose this one, oh wow, that's a hell of a start. Man grabs 2 off the start. I will finish my point there in a second. In the meantime, wow, Famous straight through the smoke, instant headshot. This is looking excellent from Carbon so far in this first round. Just 1 player left. It's Will. Low HP, 1 versus 4. 38 HP, in fact. And they're already hunting for it. Famous is going to close it out with another headshot. What I was going to say there was, if Black Dragons lose this, they will, we were talking about this earlier, I think, be the only team ever in a CROSSFIRE tournament who has beaten all of the Chinese teams and no one else, and who has beaten all the Chinese teams and potentially not gone through to the next stage.
Definitely an interesting fact there. And right now it's looking incredible for Carbon. Famous already with 2 headshots on the table. Rec finds another. And this is the Carbon we've been waiting for this entire tournament. There's no defaults today, just strictly aggressive plays so far here on Mexico. It's already a 4-on-1 for Vienna and Black Dragons. They were not ready for this Carbon. They played so much more reserved in their first match on this map against Boss. And I think this is a great strategy from Carbon. They're going to pull out all the stops here and really play a completely different game. 2-0 here, though, but definitely nice of them to change the pace here. They know Black Dragons had the advantage of seeing them play this map once, but this is Carbon playing in a whole new way here, their second showing on Mexico.
That last round, they had 4 kills before 30 seconds were even gone in the round. It was incredibly, incredibly quick for them. This round, they will slow it down just a little bit, but Kai's already off, hunting around by himself, trying to catch out something. And we've at least seen so far that Carbon look ready in terms of the aim duels. Famous has found himself a nice couple of multi-kills. Superman as well, both of them on 4 and 1. Brando 0 and 0 hasn't even had a chance to do anything yet. His teammates doing all the work for him. Flashbangs come through, trades coming, but Danimal, now he's stepping up, he's found himself too. ADRF's here as well with the spam on through, and this is looking like it's going to be the first round now for Black Dragons. Carbon slow down and it costs them dearly. It's all Kai's 1 versus 3. HP damage done to all players, so there's a possibility for this one here for him, but not in his control. There's the first quick headshot coming in though for Kai's. Now the 1 versus 2. Runs away, fakes away, but won't check the sight. Not going to clean up and take it. That's the first round for Black Dragons coming in, 2-1.
You can tell they're still a little bit nervous here. They do finally pick up that first round, but Carbon had a very quick 2 rounds to start things off their way. And a half, we thought they might have been maybe a little bit shaky on here. They still do retain this lead advantage 2-1. Now we're going to see if they can keep that momentum moving forward. Black Dragons, though, already breaking it with 1 round. We'll see if it's enough to get them to the tie here. Now Vienna starts it off, takes down Kai's already on that alley push. Black Dragons adapting nicely in this one so far, making sure Carbon doesn't have a chance to find these early aggressive openings anymore. Famous, though, still looking to try and contest mid, and they know Black Dragons has consistently gone for the hold here, using at least 1 or 2 players there, but Black Dragons, they make the smart decision. They sense that these players are going to be just potentially going for a risk here, and so they actually back off. They're going to play a more reserve setup, and I like that decision from Black Dragons, so that Famous or Superman can't just run in and go for a quick double kill.
So a 5v4 now. Carbon, man down, looking to find a way back into this round, but they've slowed down completely. Black Dragons shuffling their defense around, using a lot of early utility to ensure that Carbon can't just run straight into them. Not sure this slower style is going to work out too well for Carbon, though. They do win the first couple of rounds off sheer speed and violence. Let's see if they can get back into something here. They are a man down still, but wreck on that AWM. We'll be looking for the first kill. Looks like it will be stacking up now for an A-side hit.
They do have Superman lurking as well over towards water. It looks like he's going to be potentially throwing the fake here towards B. We'll see what he can do. He's going to try and sell it before Carbon goes to commit on this A push. He's been pretty effective in selling fakes alone here. We saw on Black Widow earlier today, he was just able to pop off and force a little bit of aggression on his own, but this time around, he's not able to make anything happen just yet. But Rek, he's just going to try and slide down the mid-ramp into this A-bomb site unnoticed. He's going to spot one player, but Superman, he's there for the support. Rek can't find one. He goes down. Superman able to open it up with two, but it may not be enough just yet. It is going to be a 2-on-3 situation as Notson takes down Brando there. It's Famous and Superman. They have been leading the charge for this team. However, it is going to be a difficult 2v3. Superman, though, does have a player potentially creeping up behind him, but they're actually going to zone in on Danimal here. He's alone. He has to hold off this plant, and he could easily stall the round, but it is going to get down safely. Danimal playing it a little bit safer. He's going to wait for his teammates to rotate, but he still has a lot of information by just maintaining his positioning here. He must have heard both of these players, and he's going to know at least one of them's playing back. But this is the best way to play it here when you are in a numbers down situation. You want to bait off these quad boxes on the back of site. It's going to not only run down the clock, but it's going to give you a safe trade situation if things do go wrong. But they can't afford to just trade here. They have to frag out here. Famous already running into trouble, finds one. The 2v3 now down to a 2-on-2, but Vienna finds one. It's Superman left in the 1v2, but he can't make it happen. Vienna there saves the day, and Black Dragons, they're going to tie this one up, but there's just barely enough time to make that happen, as the bomb will just barely be secure.
3/6 of a second on that. Almost enough time wasted by Carbon. They nearly get it done, but it must be said, while Carbon are losing these rounds, these are not as messy as their Blacklist rounds have been previously. Like, once again, tons of early utility from Black Dragon, refusing to give Carbon anything. They knew that they got overwhelmed those first few rounds, and now they're not giving anything up. 4 players getting in there to expend their util. Throw the grenades, flashes out. Make sure that there'll be nothing from Carbon that quick again, but instead, just going to go for a slower play. Hopefully not as slow as the last rounds. It did get picked apart a little bit, but we'll see what Carbon have for us here.
Now this is a tough situation for Carbon. They won the opening 2, but they can't let that be all that happens right for them here in this Blacklist side. They definitely need to come out a lot more confident than that. But Kais, he does find the opening here, taking down ADRF. A great way to get things started, but still, the job isn't done just yet here. They still have to find a way into some sort of map control, and that's been the issue for Carbon. If they don't get the initial start to go their way, they have some struggles in mid, but Kais, he opens it up again there, takes down Vienna, and that's exactly what they needed to kick off this round. Danimal firing back, though, gets the double kill through the boxes. Big plays coming from Danimal, but it's still going to be a tough situation. 3-on-2 here. Danimal, he may have got those double kills to go his way, but he still has to do a lot more than that and hold off this last-minute push. But Kais finds himself a third frag, makes the smart decision there, switches to the AK. Notson, now left in a 1v3, takes down Brando. Still 2 players standing up in his way, but he does have the bomb down, and that is a huge drop on the bomb there. And now Carbon are going to be forced to try and take this fight around it. Kais down under half HP as well, but Notson, he's in a very difficult position to hold in a 2v1. Holding off this alley push alone can be quite the difficult task. If Kais is able to just sneak in and grab the bomb, that could be all they need here, and that's what's going to happen. Rek and Kais, they just sneak by, they grab the bomb, and now they can play this one out on the post plant. Notson, though, this is his chance to try and do something big for Black Dragons here. A 1v3 would be a nice way to try and stall out the pushes from Carbon even further, and that would be a 3rd straight round here as well.
2 bullets will give his position away, though. Repositions, looking for this 1 versus 2. It's going to be some incredibly sharp shooting. Rek swings out, could have given it away, but instead grabs the kill very quickly. And Carbon back into winning ways here on their attacking side. That's their 3rd round. And their attacking side looks much better today than it did yesterday. We've only seen 1 map from them on Mexico, but once again, they're going back to the fast plays here. Grenades out to stop the counter presence from Black Dragons. This time they've changed their setup as well.
Black Dragons, they're going for the water boost, something we haven't seen yet in this tournament, but it's a smart play if you can get it, and he can maybe get up on that archway, but there's some heavy risk here because it's not something That is a very fast boost play to make, but ADRF, he's going to utilize this position. However, the one benefit Carbon does have going for them so far, they haven't really sent a large team presence to take this push. And if they make the poor decision to do that now, ADRF is going to be in a great position to capitalize. We saw in the past that Carbon has a tendency not to check these weird off angles, but ADRF, he does get the drop down shot on Taicang, but Superman and Brando already pushing aggressively here on this double doors position. They find themselves a nice kill between the two of them. They take down ADRF, and it's going to be a 4-on-3. Rek finds one from the pyramid stack, takes down Danimal. It's a 4-on-2. Carbon surely able to hold on to this one. Notson and Vienna, though, looking for some way to silence this, but they are completely spread apart, isolated, but it doesn't matter. Vienna gets 2 before going down, but it may not be enough here. Notson left in a 1v2 clutch here, but he is stuck on the A bomb site, and Rek, he hasn't left yet. He knows Notson has to rotate through him, so it's just going to be a matter of Notson taking this aim duel in the 1v1. Rek, he's very low. Notson, this is his chance to make it happen, but Rek, he still wins that fight with just a small amount of health there to make it happen, but still, Carbon, this is 4-2 already. They have more rounds than we saw in their regulation match in their first showing on Mexico.
Looking very good here indeed. There's the nade stack flying out again. Not much damage being gained from it, but Famous is looking for a pick here if he can find it. Danimal might be the one to give it to him. Jumps across, spots over the box, and that's a brilliant little snap there. The trade's now coming out for his teammates. Danimal only gets the 1, so it's 2-for-1 trade, 4 versus 3 now. Still one more player in this mid position though. Danimal will have to fall away. Carbon, again, off to a good start here in their 7th round of the half. Will be their 5th if they can grab it.
And Carbon in a position where in the entire event, they haven't lost a global risk half here. So this 5th round definitely means a lot to them because they are such a strong global risk team between them and Pacific Makta, the 2 strongest global risk teams we have in this event by far from what we've seen. But Carbon, now they could extend this lead to 5-2 as their blacklist now has started to come up as well as this event has moved forward. And just like that, it's going to be a down here. 2-for-2 trade, but it's still going to leave Notson as the last one alive yet again here. But he's going to be trying to swing out here. But Carbon, they're going to go ahead and try and back off in this one and maybe go for the full rotation over towards A. They do know that Notson has a tendency to play A, but they're going to try and get him to maybe over-position himself somewhere different here.
Trying to catch him out in transition. And they've got a minute to play with. They're going to use all of that time as well. Grouping up, clearing out the angles, and trying to catch out Notson unawares. He's playing this one pretty carefully here, just watching for the cross. Making sure that he won't be surprised by these Carbon players, but smart decision from them. They've got plenty of time. They're going to use it. Clearing out their corners, clearing their angles, and Notson, while he moves to intercept, he hasn't heard anything in the last 30 seconds, really. He's got to be second-guessing himself constantly. At this point, he's got to just pick an angle and fight it and hope that is the way that they will go. He's moving towards the correct bomb side at least, but not going to be looking at the right angles. And a bullet does come his way. The spam through from both players. Notson going to go straight in and fight it. Will they be looking at him? They swing out. He does find that first kill as well. Superman goes down. It's all up to Rek. He's going to get caught out from the side as well. Just dances away from Notson. Goes for that Desert Eagle. At this point, Rek will be trying to buy some time. 28 seconds left in this bomb. Still so much. For a long time before this defuse is no longer an option here for Notson, but he is tagged. Rek, this is such a doable 1v1, but Notson is in 1v2 for the 3rd time, it feels like, and there's the swing. Still no kill coming through. 8 bullets left for Rek, and he's looking for it. Will find the headshot in the end. It's a near thing, but it's Rek to save it once again. 5 rounds to 2 for Carbon.
And that's a big aim duel to go Rek's way there. They have such a great lead for themselves now. 2 rounds left in the first half for Black Dragons to find their way back into this one. But Black Dragons, they have surely let this one slip so far. It's not looking too great for them moving forward. 2 rounds for redemption here, though. It could still be a 5-4 half, making it a bit more winnable going into the Blacklist side here. But it is a map that tends to favor the defensive global risk side. So Black Dragons already in a tough situation. But if it becomes a 7-2 half, that's just going to even worsen the blow here in this matchup.
Especially because, as we've said, Carbon, their defensive sides all tournament have been incredibly good. They haven't been able to win games largely because of the fact that their Blacklist sides have been so lackluster. But the fact that they're managing to have a really good Blacklist performance here means there's even less pressure on their defensive side. And their defensive side has been their strong side. Here comes the hit, though, straight into a bomb site. The first frag goes the way of Brando. Still Danimal here, dancing around the boxes, but Superman's going to catch him out as well. And the double kill. Headshot comes in for Famous as well. Carbon looking unstoppable at this point. It's Vienna left 1 versus 5. This sort of dominance is what we were seeing from all gamers yesterday. Pacific Macto earlier. Never thought we'd see it from Carbon, but nonetheless, here it is, certainly delivering.
And now the scary thing is that if they only put 2 rounds on the board, Black Dragons now start to severely risk the fact that if they go 2 and 3 with only 2 rounds, they may not be in contention for the bracket stage. Q9, they could win and be 2 and 3 as well, but right now, Vienna, he starts it off right, gets the pick on the table. Black Dragons, even if they don't win this map, they need as many rounds as possible here to try and hold on, even with a 2-3 standing, and that's honestly what they have to be playing for at this point. The comeback is still possible, maybe if they can get this last round. They do have the numbers in order to win this, but they still have to be careful. Kai's, even with that low HP, he does have an Alm in his hands, which can be very effective here, even on low HP. 5v4, though, 6-2 around that Black Dragons surely need to close out here.
It's been multiple rounds they've needed to close out and haven't quite been able to just yet, so Carbon, at worst, they're getting a 6-3. They'll be very happy with this half, but they'd love to push it to a 7-2. And for Black Dragons, this has surely been a bit of a shock to have Carbon come in hitting this hard. Oh, goodness, Kai's will go down there. Vienna just saving his teammate's life, but he does get traded, though. Still a 3 versus 4. Man advantage being held so far for Black Dragons. 1:15 left on the clock for Carbon to make a play here. And Brando looking for a cheeky 1 versus 1 if he can find it. Superman might actually grab one of these kills. They do push a little bit too far, but instead it's Will holding the top of the ramp. It's seeing Danimal close by as well. Difficult round for Carbon to convert, but certainly doable.
It's going to be a tough one ahead, but Carbon, they're already comfortable, as you've said here. 6-2, potentially 7-2. Vienna, though, the top fragger for Black Dragons, was the first to be taken out here, so definitely makes it a bit more comfortable. But Danimal, he's been pretty solid on the defensive as well, so we'll see if they can keep that up. Rec going to be spotting here over on the quad boxes. ADRF, though, going to be playing this off angle on the ammo stacks on B. But Carbon, they've already snuck their way over, but it's not going to matter. Will finds one. Superman going to be caught off guard there by ADRF, and this should be it. ADRF cleans it up. Nice double kill to secure the final round of the half, but still, it is indeed a 6-3 half for Carbon, so they still have a lot of work to do on Black Dragons if they want any hope to bring this one back.
6-3 is an excellent half coming in here from Carbon. And it's a 6-3 on their blacklist side as well. If you told me this yesterday, I wouldn't have believed it, given how shaky their blacklist sides work. But they obviously had a good chat overnight, and now they look a lot more organized here on Mexico. Just 4 rounds away from closing this one out. And if they do that, they'll have reverse swept themselves all the way from the brink of elimination into the playoffs.
It would be crazy to see them go from 0-2 to 3-2, but it may just happen here. Now they're only 4 rounds away from making that a reality and finding themselves into the top 4 of this event. Black Dragons, though, they need to put up at least a couple more rounds here because they've had so many rounds, 8 as a minimum in every game they've had so far. And if they're going to fall 2-3 here, they need to make that happen.
I don't want to interrupt, but look at Brando. He's rocking an XM.
Brando going to be rocking a shotgun. The first time we've seen it, but he makes it work. Gets the double kill. They weren't ready for that alley push, and that's exactly why he brought it out there. It's going to be a 3-on-1. Danimal looking for some sort of hope. What a play there from Brando. He knew he wasn't having a whole lot of luck with the AK, so he's going to go ahead and just play aggressively with a shotgun. And that kind of first round play just really throwing them off. And now that's going to put it at a 7-3, looking incredibly solid for Carbon right now.
Now he's going to go straight back to the rifle, the more standard play, but it's always good to bring out these odd little pocket strategies just the once. We'll get them the round there, and Carbon full of confidence here. Triple push into the water and the underpass. Notton's waiting for this and might be able to grab the first frag, but surely the trade will be there. Indeed it will. Famous goes out. We'll grab that frag to bring it back into a 4 versus 4. Carbon constantly changing the pace, changing the conditions of this match. Black Dragons constantly on the back foot here so far, but of course, in the 4 versus 4, these riflemen on their side are very, very dangerous indeed. Vienna particularly has been incredibly solid for them, and now Danimal on the entry. He's been good so far, but Rex stepping up. Brando, though, will get overrun in the bomb site. Danimal comes in as well, and that brings it into the 2 versus 1. Now, Famous grabs 1 before going down. It's Rec 1 versus 2. They pick him, and he can't quite find the angle, but he's given himself a chance to stay alive here. Moving around, trying to find it. Double peek is attempting to come in. Still can't find it. The spray is there. Pistol is out. Will is tagged, but doesn't know he's crossed. Now he does, though, Rec. 5 bullets looking for it. He's going to manage to grab it as well. Black Dragons. That's a big round to lose. A 1 versus 2, and Will looks a bit unhappy about it.
Rightfully so. I mean, Rek, he was isolated in a corner, and they still couldn't find a way to get the trade frag, and that's just something you cannot afford to let happen, especially when you're already down on so many rounds. Carbon now extending their lead to 5 rounds, 8-3. They're just 2 away from closing this out with a big 10-3 win here over Black Dragons. Right now, there's going to be a lot of pressure in mid. Famous almost finding Knotson there through the smoke. He's going to be taken down to just around 10 HP. Famous, though, he does go down to 28 in that fight as well, so still a fairly equal engage out of that one. But Black Dragons, they are very nervous, but they have to be careful here. One more round given up to Carbon, and they're going to be on match point already here.
And we said coming into this that even if Carbon lost, they needed to get 8 rounds. Once again, they've already done that, but they're looking to do so much more. Just 2 more required. Black Dragons certainly have been caught off guard by the constant changing of pace from Carbon here, but still with a chance to get back into this one now. Setting up to head over towards this A site. Utility is there to lock them out. Kai is peeking through this smoke with the AWM. There's a double stack from Famous and Rek here. As soon as his mid pressure comes in, they'll be ready to swing out and get these trade frags. It is Rek to grab 2 there. Vienna can't find the trade, but Danimal's going to grab a double of his own, brings it back into the 3 versus 2 now. Superman and Brando left alone. Their teammates getting destroyed by Danimal in the end. And it's Brando. Has to get this done on the bomb site by himself, but instead they're choosing not to go towards him. Does get a great tag off. That's going to help. Vienna and Will both low.
Now Brando and Superman have a chance to take this one on to match point. Still a tough one ahead, but Vienna does have an arm in his hands and low HP. That could be a fairly easy kill if he doesn't connect on a shot. Will goes down as well. It's a 2-on-2. Very winnable now for Carbon. They actually have the HP advantage to work with here. C4, though, going to be in the hands of Danimal. He's working his way through mid, but this is actually the best setup they could have right here. They're crossing for the support on each other, but they still have vision towards both bomb sites. I definitely like this decision from Carbon here. Not going to give up too much too quickly. Danimal not going to be quite spotted, though, if he does sneak out of alleyway here, but Superman will cross Vienna if he decides to go here across the A double doors. Definitely could be a big shot to get this one started. Superman finds it here. It's a 1-on-2. Danimal definitely looking for a big round here, but he's only got 5 seconds. They know he has to plant now, so they can just rush in on the plant here, get back into the site. They should be able to close it out, but Danimal finds one. Could he do this in the 1-on-2? Superman, no. He's going to stall the plant, and that's exactly what they wanted there. Danimal not able to catch them both, but he can't get the bomb down in time.
9 rounds to 3. Carbon are about to reverse sweep their way from 0-2. They have the worst record at the tournament. They're about to reverse sweep their way all the way into the playoffs if they can grab this final round here. They have 6 match points, and Famous is going to find 2 kills spamming through the smoke, 2 headshots as well. It's an excellent way to start from him. The North Americans about to clutch their way back into this 0-2 to 3-2, and it's just 3 kills remaining.
Carbon just playing incredibly as a team here throughout this entire day 2 for themselves. This is going to be a 2-0 for them on the day, and honestly, it's just been a complete turnaround here in the second day of matches, beating Q9 and Black Dragons, who both looked fairly strong here. It's going to be such a big feat. 5-on-3 left in their way before they can make this happen. ADRF, Knotson, and Danimal, the last bastion of hope here for Black Dragons to keep it in contention. Famous finds one of them, though. It's going to be Danimal going down. ADRF and Knotson looking for something big here, but it's just not going to happen. ADRF, it's a 1v5 or bust. This should be a 10-3 as Kais takes down Knotson. ADRF, we'll see if he can make this happen. 1v5. Going to be looking, catches Famous on the corner, has a chance to make it happen, but it's just not going to. Rek trades it out, and you can see the relief on Carbon's face. That is a big win for them, and they know they are surely going to be in the bracket stage now as well. We do have what should be 3 guaranteed teams now. 2 teams of 3 and 2, going to be AG and Carbon joining our #1 seed Pacific. But now it begs the question, which of the 2 and 3 teams will make it through? Black Dragons falls to 2 and 3, but now we have 2 1 and 3 teams fighting for a win coming up, and Q9, there's still a glimpse of hope to make it in now.
They very possibly could at this point. Black Dragons 2 and 3, Boss and Q9 both 1 and 3 with 1 more game to play. The winner of that game, it's either them or Black Dragons. It's going to come down to the round loss difference. But Carbon here, they managed to bring it back, and they're happy about it as well. The reverse sweep, 0-2 to 3-2. They're going to the playoffs.
Overall, just a fantastic performance from Carbon on the day. They are going to be moving on to the bracket stage, and we're down to just one match left here in the group stage, and it is going to be an intense one here. Both of these teams 1 and 3, but potentially if they swing into that 2 and 3 position, they have a chance of maybe taking that spot away from Black Dragons. And still, in the final match of our group stage, we still don't know who's going to make it through.
No, we still have a tie that will be for that 4th place spot, but the teams that we do have confirmed so far, Pacific Max are sitting at 4 and 1. Very well played from them. Carbon, having reverse swept their way back to 3-2, will join all gamers on the same record. So those 3 teams definitely going through to the tournament stage. Carbon managed to sweep their way back into the best of 3s, but of the other 3 teams, we still don't know who will be joining them just yet. And that's what we're going to find out in our final game of the day. It's going to have to be redemption for Q9. They were one of the favorites coming in. They're 1 and 3.
Definitely an interesting showing from them, but now that we do have 2, 3, and 2 teams, that actually confirms them that they will be playing each other. They're both 2nd and 3rd place respectively. We don't know which order, but that's going to be a semifinals match, AG and Carbon. Now Pacific's just waiting to see who gets that 4th spot, so having an idea of now what our semifinals might look like, but it's still not decided yet. We need to know who that 4th seed is going to be, and all of these teams do have a chance to make that happen. We'll see who pulls out through, though, because honestly, I have no idea at this point.
It's incredibly difficult to predict. Yesterday, I was asking you for predictions. I stopped doing that about like the 6th or 7th match through because we started to get the upsets rolling in, and it was just too much. And even more today, I think Carbon have been the shining stars in terms of upsets, but everyone's been surprising. Pacific certainly were incredibly dominant against all gamers, and I wasn't expecting to do that. I thought they'd have a good chance of winning, but not to just destroy them in the way that they did. So it's been a bit of a surprising invitational so far, but we do have one more group stages game. And you know what? Just for fun, I will get a prediction on this one. Boss versus Q9. Who you got?
Boss versus Q9. As much as I want to say Boss could pull off the upset, I think Q9, they want to end this one at least somewhat respectively, even if they aren't able to pull out a chance in that bracket stage. I think they're still going to get this 2nd win here. Boss, honestly, throughout the tournament, they've looked the most shaky out of any team we've seen, consistently having a lot of team issues. Q9, I think they have the individual talent to take this one away. However, I think it is still going to be a very close final map because Boss, even though they're sitting at a 1 and 3 record, every game they've had has been incredibly close.
Yeah, it has indeed been that way. So it'll be interesting to see which of those 2 teams can do it. But for Q9, I think it's very much a case of they need this one too. Even if they go out, they need to at least regain some respect here and get at least one more win on the board.
Definitely. And guys, we're going to throw it to a break here before we get back with our final match. Stay tuned for it.